And we go live now with Gladys Quesada, who is on the demonstrations in support of the President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, who 1 month ago, he won the elections that were held on July the 28th. Let's go now with Gladys.
Yes, Anna, hello. Thanks for this time and the contact hearing from the South and teleSUR English and with all of our audience. Yes, precisely. I'm in the vicinities really close by Miraflores Palace, the seat of the government here in Caracas and in all Venezuela, where the president of the Bolivarian Revolution and the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro was addressing the crowd, addressing all this multitude, these people that packed the streets of Caracas and came here to see him and to showcase once again their support for the president Nicolás Maduro Moros, as you were saying, in the aftermath of his election victory of July 28th. This August 28th marks a month after his electoral victory and just a few days after the Supreme Electoral Court, the TSJ, was declaring his victory as abiding and as real and official. So this is two victories for Nicolás Maduro Moros and the Bolivarian Revolution. I have to say, this march started the concentration and the gathering at the noontime in Plaza Venezuela, one of the many landmarks and one of the most prominent landmarks here in Caracas and one of the most recognizable ones. There, the people had the occasion to meet with other leaders of the Bolivarian Revolution, that's to say, the first vice president of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, the new minister of internal relationships, the interior, also justice and Peace, Diosdado Cabello Rondón, and the first vice president of the National Assembly of Venezuela, that's to say, Pedro Infante Aparicio. Both of them addressed the crowd, addressed the people, and Diosdado Cabello was referring the need for justice, the need for not letting impunity to go around Venezuela to be, in this case, of the 27 deaths in the aftermath of the July 28th election during the terrorist violent actions held by the extreme radical right and the terrorist factions of them. Also, as we want to say, this gathering marched from that point and went by Cantebe, one of the many points here in the center of the city, and also downtown Caracas. The march came by the Baralt and Ordenera avenues and concluded here in the Miraflores Palace. There, the president was addressing the people and was saying that there will be no impunity and there will be justice against the instigators and the people who called for violence, that's to say the leaders of the far right, the extreme right, who were also calling fraud on the elections without evidence and without going to the maximum instances of the justices and the judicial power here in Venezuela and Caracas. Also, the president was saying that Edmundo González Urrutia is in discontent with the law. That's to say, he never abided by the law mandate and never showed up after the call by the authorities and the call by the Attorney General's office. That's one of the many delictives and crime figures here in Venezuela and is punishable by law. So he is in contempt with the law. Also, I wanted to say many of the people that came to this march and marched through the streets were part of social organizations, that's to say Ora, Movimiento Futuro, Tupamaru, amongst other political organizations that also participated in the elections. And I want us to stress, people came here to fight for peace, to call for peace, to showcase the world the truth of Venezuela and how Venezuela is trying to be resilient on these cases of attacks and to rely on their people and the peace and the constitution and the core values of the revolution, which are revolution for everyone, social benefit for everyone, and peace as a premise in this occasion. Also, as I wanted to say, the president addressed this, but he was also saying that the revolution is going on, that the people in Venezuela is moving on despite the attacks, despite the smear campaigns, and despite how much the other forces, the contrary forces, the Western powers, the international attempts of interference are trying to dismiss and to come into the demeanor of the revolution. I want to say that the president also, after announcing some of the 7 transformations, this week he was announcing some some changes in his cabinet, and he was stressing the changes and explaining to the people the importance of these changes in his cabinet during his address to the march. He was expressing that the Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, which is now also the Minister of Petroleum, of Oil here in Venezuela, she is taking in a big responsibility, a big task, and he was saying that these changes in his cabinet, this cabinet reshuffle, is one way to ensure trust in the revolution, to ensure that there is transparency in the process, and also to ensure that the processes that started are also going on and continuing with the revolution. I'm greeting the people that is passing by because people is greeting us also back, and you know, they're coming back from the march. Also, I want to say that he was saying that he ratified in charge the ministers of communications and defense, and that's to say Vladimir Padrino Lopez in defense and also Freddy Ñañez in communications. And he was stressing that these people that are still in their portfolios, these leaders of portfolios, the ministers that he ratified, also had a great accomplishments during their administration, and now they are going to continue with other tasks in their portfolios that have to reinforce the goodwill of Venezuela. And he was saying that Venezuela is trying to find better governance structures. And he was referring that there could be no vertical government in Venezuela. The need to have horizontal structures of power in Venezuela, popular will expressed in the ballot boxes, and also that the projects that the revolution has to move on with has to come from the people, from the people's voice, the articulations, the coordinations of maybe the UHE, which are structures of social will and social power here in Venezuela, as well as other ways as the communes that had their second consultation on Sunday, August 25th. That's the information, that's the paramount information in this afternoon. As you can see behind me, people are still coming out from this encounter with the president and this march, and now people is dispersing, but before that, it was a big crowd, a packed street that was here trying to attend with the president this address, and also that we're marching because of peace and because of progress and the future of Venezuela. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Gladys, very much for your remarks on these mobilizations and all the decisions that made President Nicolás Maduro this rally.